Third Watch News Update is a part of the Amateur Radio Network. The Amateur News Topics, very interesting story. More information about the coronavirus, how it was created in a lab, and listening to the report from Jesse Waters and Waters World on Saturday night at Fox News. A very, very interesting story. It's been developing as well from a report from Brett Baer at Fox News as well. We're going to be studying up on that topic more after this. The Court of Public Opinion is a part of the Amateur Radio Network. We're morphing some of these topics together because bringing in the opinion piece, how many people would dispute that it's not true that China would not do that. That was exactly what the whole issue is with the World Health Organization, how many people were propping up China. A lot of people love China. It's obvious. They wouldn't even be the least bit discerning of the news on these topics either. That puts into question the bias of the news reports because there are people that like China so much that wouldn't even report it. Same thing with the whole news story on Joe Biden, how a victim had come forward about being sexually assaulted by presidential candidate Joe Biden. And there have also been other issues with children being stared at and also hugged and kissed by Joe Biden. And we're not talking about, an uncle relationship or relative. Just these are people that are like other congressmen, men and women. Let's get back to the story about coronavirus because there have been numerous murders of doctors that were literally flooding the news 2 years ago, and then the coronavirus come out. Now, there was another doctor's report that said that anybody who had taken any vaccinations would probably be easily more susceptible to coronavirus, meaning because it was highly contagious. I do not believe this to make sense because it was a highly contagious disease. Although you have to wonder, where did coronavirus come from? Because it's in a family of 6 other diseases that have fatal outcomes. So, interestingly enough, that news report from Fox News and then Brett Baer and also from Jesse Waters and Waters World on Saturday night, this past Saturday night, makes again for the story about what is going on with China, because China is an enemy of the United States, and that's what a lot of people who like China don't realize it. I know people from China that escaped China, and they escape with their lives. That's why it's not about the Chinese people. It's about the CCP. Now, Epoch Times does an excellent job at laying out the case for this. And now that you see what's going on with the World Health Organization being that they had lost their funding from the United States until the investigation continues, it'll be interesting what that independent investigation will look like. Now the money has been given over to organizations that help build a field hospital. We are also proudly sponsored by the Butler VA with the field report. We have not been doing a field report since the coronavirus because of the field hospital. That was the whole point to some of our audio and videos that about 2 years ago I had prayed that a lot of people would listen to some of our prophecy updates, that there was a mass destruction coming and it looked like we needed field hospitals. Just as at the same time I got approved by the Butler VA, and you'll notice some of my logo and some of the work, and you'll notice how the USS Mercy was there in the harbor near Los Angeles. So there's a prophecy in the news that cannot go ignored. I want to share with family and friends that support me here. We do our best to get a webcast together. We do not have a multimedia. This is just a still. We basically want to move it up a few. It costs money, and I need support to do that. If you would support me financially, I could get the multimedia the way I want it. It costs a lot of extra money to run it. I want to be fully self-supporting. I don't want to have to rely on anyone for money. I'm just saying that because we want to see some upgrades, our radio broadcast can get some upgrades, and if we could get on air at WISR, that would be the next step. We already got the sponsorship. We just really got to get some more people to support us. The Amateur Radio Network, what it is it's a ability for us to teach and also study and also be funded through grants and loans, federal grants and loans, and it's a short schooling program, and it's a webinar webcast which will allow us to learn and educate ourselves on topics like what we've just been sharing. This webinar, it gives us easier access to getting video and having help with upgrades in multimedia, because there is a way, and it can happen. It's just we've been through a lot of things, like a lot of narrow views about what we've been broadcasting. We're just basically sharing with you the news updates and everything that has been going on about the coronavirus. One of the things is that I was sharing with somebody, because I'm a veteran in this. We are veteran owned and operated. It's called Compass New Media, and what we do is we're learning more and more to improve our new media and also introduce homeschooling, because after the Compass New Media, once we finish this broadcast, we're going into what we call homeschool, and homeschooling allows us to buy the books, be financially approved by the federal government to be able to apply for loans, apply for grants, and do independent study. When I look at some of the news stories, and I see that there's a whole combination of news stories that they need to dig away at this stuff, because everybody's so concerned about the biases and opinions, and we're not getting to the story. So when we cut off with the court of public opinion, while you can have your opinions, the truth in the news is important. We're going to stay tuned for more of those news updates. Also, we support the Hagman Report. We support a bunch of other programs, and also HelloFresh. So if you see our support and sponsorship, we want to continue to sponsor and support, especially that excellent coffee that's Detective Choice. We want to have a coffee kiosk and t-shirt sales once we get finished with our own business. Selling hats and t-shirts and clothes seems like a great way to fund our program. And we have some excellent fashion picks and things that we already are ahead of schedule for this spring-fall collection. And you'll want to stay tuned for that little small clip and update, as we are going to support that. And I'm going to show you that small collection of clothes that we have picked out. We're a design team, and as a design team, we try to come up with the best look to support what we're doing out there and to dress for success. And those of you who know anything about dressing for success, it means being prepared to go on interviews, to going to the career link and get career mapping. So there's much more up next here. And you'll notice these are the clothes that we picked out. The long sweater with a nice big bulky purse, a Melania look, the kind of things that we want to do when we get to Fashion Week. And also these clothes, you can buy them at Kohl's. The shoes were picked out. They are Bass shoes. These are just a couple other, also not to forget, muck boots for Drain the Swamp look, and the baby doll dress that goes with it. There's a lot other things that we've been trying to pick as a design team to support what we do. I was honored to get inducted to the Trump organization in 2011 as the Professional Women's Association. So just to give you some highlights of what is ahead for our broadcasts, we're going to be suspending some of our broadcasts because we have a special project we've been working on. It's called Upstage Design Team, and I was honored to get recognition from the Trump organization in 2011. So we put together Upstage Design as a style project radio, and it's Pittsburgh Not Paris Fashion Week for this fall. You can go follow our broadcast this June. We're going to see how it goes. We don't really know. We've changed our design, our work, and hopefully by putting it all together, you'll see that those are just a sample of some of the ideas we have for the work that we've been working on to redesign and create a whole new look. I'm very honored to get that kind of recognition from the Trump organization. So thank you very much. And that's it.